My siblings inherited everything while I got nothing. Then I bought the family business they were about to lose. The call came during my wedding in Bali. Foreclosure. All 12 hotels. Tomorrow morning. My bride, billionaire heiress Victoria Nakamura, saw the shock freeze my face and whispered, "Should I help your family?" I shook my head. They'd disowned me 10 years ago for being gay. Now they'd see what real power looked like. The phone kept buzzing against my tuxedo pocket while traditional Balinese dancers swirled around us. Each text from my private investigator contained another confirmation. The Grandview Hotel chain, built by 4 generations of Blackwood men, would be auctioned at 9 a.m. Pacific. My siblings had 90 minutes to raise $47 million or lose everything our great-grandfather built with his bare hands after immigrating from Scotland. Victoria squeezed my hand as we exchanged rings worth more than most people's houses. She knew about the family that had thrown me out like garbage, choosing their religion over their youngest son. What she didn't know was that I'd spent the last decade methodically positioning myself to destroy them, or that tomorrow I would own every brick of their crumbling empire. The flashback hit me during our first dance, 10 years ago, standing in this same hotel's presidential suite, trembling as I told my parents I was gay. Mom's face had turned white as communion wafers. Dad's Bible crashed to the marble floor. My brother Daniel, the golden boy destined to inherit everything, had actually laughed. Finally explains why you never brought girls home. My sister Rebecca just stared, calculating how this affected her trust fund. "You're no son of mine," Dad had whispered, his Scottish accent thick with disgust. The Blackwood name ends with Daniel now. 3 weeks later, the will was rewritten. I got nothing. Not even a mention in the legal documents that transferred $200 million in assets to my siblings. I'd moved to Los Angeles with $800 and a duffel bag, while they inherited a hotel empire spanning 3 states. What they never knew was that I'd recorded everything on my phone. Every family meeting where they planned to cut me out. Every conversation about hiding assets from creditors. Every bribe they paid to health inspectors. Every tax evasion scheme. Every illegal payoff to city councilmen for zoning permits. Years of evidence that would eventually become their downfall. Victoria and I honeymooned at our new resort in the Maldives, but I spent most nights on encrypted video calls with my team. The acquisition paperwork needed to be perfect. Tomorrow, Blackwood Hotels would become a subsidiary of Chen Nakamura International. My new family had more money than most small countries, and they'd just handed me the keys to financial revenge beyond my wildest dreams. The irony was delicious. I'd clawed my way up from sleeping in my car to becoming CEO of the second largest luxury hotel chain in Asia. I'd legally changed my name to Alexander Chen after Victoria adopted me into her family before our marriage. My own siblings wouldn't recognize me if I walked up and shook their hands. Plastic surgery had refined my features. Personal trainers had transformed my body, and a decade of success had erased every trace of the scared kid they'd thrown away. Daniel had actually tried to court Chen Nakamura International for a partnership deal 6 months ago. He'd flown to Singapore, probably spending money they didn't have, trying to impress investors who were already planning his destruction. I'd sat in the boardroom wearing a custom Italian suit worth more than his car, watching him grovel for a deal that would never come. He looked right through me, seeing only another Asian businessman in a sea of power suits. The wedding reception ended at midnight Bali time, which meant my siblings had 6 hours left before losing everything. I could imagine the panic in that drafty mansion where I'd grown up. Mom probably pacing the hardwood floors her grandfather had installed by hand. Dad rage calling every contact in his phone book, begging for emergency loans. Daniel and Rebecca scrambling through financial documents, trying to find assets they could liquidate before dawn. My phone buzzed with an encrypted message from my sister, not Rebecca, but the one they didn't know about yet. My half-sister Elena, born from Dad's affair with a hotel maid 25 years ago. "They're in the boardroom," her text read. Daniel's crying. Rebecca threw a glass at the wall. Dad's having chest pains. Mom locked herself in the bathroom. Another message followed immediately. "Security codes change tomorrow at 6 a.m. New management takes over at 8 a.m. Should I prepare the staff?" I smiled, typing back. "Tell them their new CEO expects excellence. Anyone who wants to keep their job should report to the main conference room at 8:15 a.m. sharp." Elena would deliver the message without revealing who sent it. Victoria found me on our balcony overlooking the Indian Ocean. "You're thinking about them," she said, settling into the chair beside me. "In 4 hours, they'll lose everything," I said. 4 generations of work gone because they chose hate over love. She nodded, understanding immediately. Victoria's own family had built their fortune by being more vicious than their competitors. She knew that business was war by other means, and that family could be the most brutal battlefield of all. "Are you ready for what comes next?" she asked. Full story on my channel and linked below.